I think I just want to ask you one closing question and then we can open to the floor. In a recent conference at MoMA in New York, you said, with reference to your work, Waiting for a Revolution, that for you a solo show at MoMA or places like that is unsurprisingly not your idea of a revolution. And I just wanted to close this discussion by asking you what would be a real and meaningful change or improvement for you, even if it's not quite a revolution, and might we witness such changes in our lifetime?
I would love that. As I told you before, I don't think it's easy. There is an easy answer for that. But the title "Waiting for a Revolution" is the title of my very early work, which unfortunately we don't have it, but I think here it will explain. I didn't do many of drawings, but this is one of it. Actually, those drawings that I did were like comments on drawings, like artistic medium. And it shows a little girl that looks at the frog on a pillow, and then there's a copy of this drawing that shows the same drawing, although the color of the frog changes. And so it's a series of work, and so she's waiting for the revolution. So here you have the gender issue, you have the political issue, is the revolution coming, and what really is the revolution? Obviously MoMA is not a place. Although, the people, members of Occupy movement, came at one point, they came into it and tried to occupy. I mean, they were doing demonstrations, but it didn't change much. It's a corporation. I mean, the commercial world. I mean, art is a business, and I'm very much aware of it. But on the other hand, I think I learned from the activists that if you have a clear goal, you should not ghettoize yourself. You have to reach, every place, even the mainstream, art gallery, in public space, and not to be.
Not to exclude yourself from any context.
Exactly, and that's what I think it's, hopefully it's going to happen. Maybe not in MoMA, maybe on the street, maybe somewhere else. I hope I will be part of it.
Okay, thank you very, very much. And I think this is a good moment to take a few questions. We have, I think, about 15 minutes for questions.
I just want to say thank you so much for the fantastic talk. It's just a small question, but I was wondering, when you're invited to make a new work, or if you're thinking about stuff like developing a new collaboration in a new context, like you're saying with women's groups or with local activist groups, just about your process, just how you go about making those initial connections and coming from the outside, coming into a new context.
Yeah, this is a good question, because I think artists these days are traveling around like tourists, and good artists are invited all over the place. And if I would, I'm not such artist in demand so much recently, I think. But I think it's really problematic to be caught into this hyper-production, of whatever, not objects. You're not doing any objects, but still, it's about to non-stoppable production thing, and this is quite problematic, I think. And especially if you want to work, as I want to work on a local issue, on a local context, it needs time to develop. To actually acquire knowledge about the specific one, And usually I work there's a long-term, long way of discussion, knowing, collaboration with activist groups or people or politicians or whatever, before I actually decide what kind of work I will be able to do. And it's always very important to involve other people, because there is no way that I would superficially, I can know what's happening in England, the UK, and we can learn, read, watch, but I think it's important to have the collaboration with people who really are immersed in the problem, they are in the context. So it usually takes lots of time. But it depends, sometimes, as I said, I started this project, some of them like NGO report, Women's House, which I know already how to develop, I know the methodology and material and so on. It's easy to produce, but of course it's always a collaboration. I mean, the issues that I invite people to actually say what their issue is. I'm just a medium here, I come, and say, well, what you like, what you think it's important to do, and then I deliver a technique.
That reminds me of you were mentioning how inspired you were by an early work of Hans Hake when he came to Zagreb, which was a mirror where he
72 he was invited. He was do something. Yeah, he's great inspiration. He's a man, but he's really interesting artist. I think this was very early when he was invited to have a show, participate in the show, which shows, by the way, how it was happening in the Gallery of Contemporary Art, the place where I had the first exhibition. I think it was really a spectacle place. Many international artists were coming, were exhibiting, and so it wasn't that we were close behind the Iron Curtain. Anyway, he arrived and he did a piece in 5 minutes. He saw a mirror and he wrote over the mirror, since I'm not familiar with the Yugoslav context, I'm not able to develop a work. And I thought, wow, this is the way to do it.
And it seems to have carried on.
Fantastic, yeah.
I find your statement on your show, A Moment of Being Your Ideal Revolution, quite interesting. And I would like to refer to your friend Marina Abramovic, recently also had a show at MoMA. And there's a documentary about the making of this show, which we did last year. I think it's called The Artist is Present.
I've seen it, yeah.
Where she states that actually I can't remember the exact wording, but she states that she was quite tired of being the revolutionary one. And she kind of acknowledges this idea of a successful artist that is rightly glorified in the context of MoMA. So I just wanted to kind of ask you how you feel about her position.
Her position?
Well, yeah, I mean, being, two artists from, the same...
There are many other artists, no, Marina is, it's
with reference to your own practice,
Sorry?
With reference to your own practice as well.
There are not many references, but I think Marina did some extremely important work, in her early ages, long with especially collaboration with the Ulay. Those are works that will stay, they are anthological, And I think, I don't know, in each artist's life, you have maybe 2-3 works that are going to stay, and the rest, I don't know, it's legitimate, to enjoy. I mean, if she enjoys success, fine.
But you're happy to carry on being revolutionary. I feel.
Well, I'm not saying I'm a revolutionary. I'm just trying to keep to be alert, about what's happening around me, and not just focusing on myself and the artwork.
Thank you.
Thank you.
production 70s, 70s, and nowadays production. Just some, it's I don't know, what you feel about it. It's better to work nowadays, really, I mean, in this background, or it's better in the 70s?
Well, I remember being young and very eager to, to become a successful artist. And they say I'm successful these days, but I'm not very eager. I would much more like to continue to be not under the spots. Anyway, the difference. There are differences, of course. Different in the sense that I think I'm lucky that these days I have the opportunity to develop more. The bigger projects, more expensive one, the collaborations, people are open, especially I think in this organization they also learn about my practice, not only art projects. And there I got some, offer to work with some, even, I don't know, big UN, whatever, organization which I refused. But yeah, it's like, in a way much easier to work these days, but in many, many other ways much more difficult. Much more difficult because, at the time in the 70s in socialist Yugoslavia, the world was different, and it was easier in the sense that you still were able, or maybe we thought we were able to do some radical gestures, But these days, as I say, it's quite difficult to find out the way that you will not be co-opted. Or should I something like this? Yeah. So I don't know. Is that answer to your question? Yeah, we should leave the floor.
I think we leave to the floor more. Sanja, thank you very much for very informative talk and